Good morning, friends. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. We have made it to Vlogmas Day 5. We're in the same spot we left off last night, but we are looking much different and very drowsy. The coffee of the day today, thought you might be interested to know, is Great Value Colombian. Unfortunately, I can tell that this is Great Value coffee. I bought it to try to be a little bit cheaper. Unfortunately, I can't help it if my taste buds are elite. But it's all right. We've got peppermint mocha creamer. We're drinking it iced. It's doing the job. I haven't started the vlog yet looking like this, but today, let's just say I am very tired. And as you saw, I have a very hard time getting out of bed. So I'm not going to be expecting too much out of myself today. So I will just ask that you show me a little bit of grace in that area if I look like complete trash. Thank you. First things first, I thought I would just go through my skincare with you while I kind of tell you about my day, what I'm planning on doing. The first thing that I like to do is obviously wash my face. I already did that. Sorry, I used the Curology cleanser. But then I go with my sunscreen. This is Neutrogena Healthy Defense Daily Moisturizer with Sunscreen, SPF 50. So today is a Thursday. So I mean, I do have work to do. Are we surprised? No. So I have to go to work. And then after work, I basically have to edit. Are we surprised? No. So the next thing I like to do after I let the sunscreen sit for a while is the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. Guys, this feels so good on your face. It's just like cooling, and it's like doesn't that just look magical? I love it. And then I'll usually go in with like my ice roller or like my jade roller. Tonight, oh my gosh, guys, Grey's Anatomy is on, and it is the 3rd episode of the new season. So during quarantine, James and I literally watched all 16 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, and it's quickly become one of my favorite shows. And not to give anything away if you haven't like seen this season yet and you want to watch it, but basically we're getting some let's just say blasts from the past, and they're making my jaw drop every time, and tonight apparently we're getting a new one. So next I just do my pure Pixie Glow Mist. I don't really know if this does anything, but I like the way it feels, so I use it. And then I usually use my Glossier BirthdayBalm.com for my lips, and that is the end of my skincare. So hopefully you enjoyed that. All right, so I'm gonna get ready, put a little makeup on, try to figure out something with my hair. I'm not sure I feel like curling it. We'll see. We're just gonna fix this up. So we actually got ready. I was really not sure how ready I was gonna get today, but once I got started, I just kept going. So I just did like this half thing, which I think kind of looks like young, but it's kind of cute, so whatever. And I did false lashes today, and a funny story, I was literally like doing my makeup or whatever, and I had both my lashes on the table, and then I grabbed a Q-tip to like fix a mascara spot on my eyeshadow, and then once I like went to go put the other lash on, it was gone. Like I knocked it off the table, and you know they're really light, so like it just was gone, and I literally had to search the carpet for my lash, and then I stepped on it and finally found it. So it's probably really disgusting it had like hair stuck on it, so I like cleaned it off and like wiped it off. I put it on my eyes, so ooh, hopefully that's not disgusting. But I'm gonna go to work and I will catch up with you guys afterwards. Okay, I'm back from work. Don't mind the blanket, it's just really cold in my house. So we are going to answer assumptions and questions on my Instagram. Ready to spill the tea? Here we go. First, we're gonna do assumptions, okay? The first one is you're cute. Thank you very much. I don't know what to say to that. Next is that you put people before yourself. Hashtag most caring person ever. You're very sweet. I would say I actually have a bad habit of doing whatever will make anyone else happy. But yeah, like I would say I really love doing things for other people, making other people happy, sometimes to a fault, but that would be a correct assumption to an extent. I assume you are perfect, and I am right. This is obviously one of my friends being really nice to me, which is so sweet. But you would be incorrect. I'm definitely not perfect, but you are always right. So that contradicts itself. So I'm not really sure which one's true in that situation, but I am not perfect, but so kind of you. Thank you. You drink a lot of coffee. Too much coffee. My eye has been twitching for the last 4 days because the coffee to water ratio, it's been slim to none. So, yeah. Your pup is your BFF. Maui, are you my BFF? Come here. Come here if I'm your BFF. I guess we're not. But yes, I love my dog, honestly. I love her so much. Come here. She's sitting on the couch. She doesn't want to move from the sun. I don't blame her. It's freezing in here. I love my dog. I love my dog. She is the cutest. She's best thing ever. You are a perfectionist. Ma'am, you have hit the nail on the head. My sister and I were actually just talking about this, that I will let my perfectionism get in the way of doing things because I'm so afraid of failing and so afraid of it not being right, that sometimes I just won't do said thing because I'm so scared of failing, and that is definitely a fault I need to work on because mistakes are necessary and mistakes are part of the human life and the circle of life. So, yeah. You were spoiled growing up. Gotta put the phone down for this one and have a little mini conversation. This one I did see beforehand, and I was like, how am I gonna answer that? If you know me in real life, you're probably understanding why. I was like a little baffled on how I was gonna answer this one. Part of my life, I would definitely say I was spoiled in the definition that spoiled is like having more than you need and like a lot of what you want, and I would say that's very true for part of when I grew up, but for the first 6 or 7 years of my life, I was probably the opposite of spoiled. It's not something I've really like talked about a lot to anyone, nor have I talked about it a lot on the internet at all. But yeah, like my beginning childhood was actually very, very rough, and it's something I definitely would talk about later and share more if there was an interest to hear that, and if it would help someone. I think that's the only reason to really talk about those kind of things, is if they can help someone else, and I would totally love to do that. Also when I'm a little more comfortable, you know, because, you know, sharing like deep personal things can be difficult. So that was kind of really loaded, but was I spoiled when I grew up? No.
But then part of my life, thankfully, I was able to have, you know, a lot more things than other people. But for another part of my life, I was really struggling and it was rough. So that's kind of the vague answer to that assumption. Let's move on to the questions. A few questions here. The first question is, are you a diva? They have to have everything their way. They're like high maintenance. Hell yeah, I'm high maintenance. Because I deserve to be high maintenance. Anyways. Why won't you move to Utah? Girl, Utah's on the list. We just don't know yet. We're thinking about moving. In case you guys didn't know that. Won't be anytime soon. We were hoping it would be in 2021, but the way 2020 went, that didn't happen. It's on the list of possibilities. It really is. Would you rather be a foot taller or a foot shorter? I would probably rather be a foot taller. I personally like that I'm like not short, and I don't want to be short. I'd want to be taller because then I'd probably have longer legs. And if I was taller, my weight would get distributed like a little bit more, and then it would just like help a little bit with like that slendering, you know? We need all the help we get. If I got a foot shorter, then the weight that I am would literally be dispersed a foot shorter than me, and I would look way worse than I do now. So taller, taller, taller. Favorite podcast? Okay, so I really got into podcasts for a while, and now I have like not been listening to them at all for like a hot second. And I will like listen to a podcast and binge the podcast and then like not listen to it for like 3 months. So based on that knowledge of my podcast listening habits, I'm gonna give you my top 3 because I go between them. So at the top is definitely Fridays at 5, Lipsticks and Lattes on YouTube. It's her podcast with her friend Chelsea. Freaking love it. They're so fun to listen to. Love them. I also like the Skinny Confidential. We love them. Love, love, love. And then I would probably have to say this one my sister just introduced me to. And now I literally cannot remember the name of it, but I'll put it on the screen. But they literally watch every single episode of Gilmore Girls and then like talk about it on the podcast. Every single episode. So there's a ton on there, and they have kept going, and they've like gone on to other Amy Sherman Palladino shows like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Ballerina, the Ballerina one. I can't remember the name of the show, but ballet shoes, Bunheads. There we go. That was really aggressive. And so basically love that podcast because they just like talk about my favorite show. So those are my top 3. Least favorite fashion trend right now. Do not kill me. Please do not kill me. But I do not like the white chunky sneakers. I'm sorry. I just cannot get behind it. And now here's the thing though. Like there was a time where I thought scrunchies were just horrendous. There was a time I thought cheetah leopard print was like, ugh. Usually I warm up to things. So maybe I'll eventually warm up to the white sneakers, but it has been a hot second and I still haven't. So I'm maybe not counting on that one. Don't come at me though, like rock it, you look great. I don't get it. But that doesn't mean you look bad, because some of you do look sick in those white sneakers. But I promise you, I try to put those white sneakers on, I'm gonna look like a freaking clown. Like, that's what I'd look like. Favorite Office character. Also, don't come at me, I barely watched The Office. I've watched maybe like a season's worth spread out. But definitely I'd have to see Michael Scott though, because every time I watch that show, I'm like, I channel him very much so. Love that man. The last question of the day. What are your family plans for the future? So, I'm glad you asked. I'm just kidding. Family plans for the future. For the past 2.5 years, we've been married. And when we first got married, I honestly thought by now we would have a kid. Like, in my head, that's kind of like where I was going. But as I've been growing up and getting to know myself more the last few years, I've realized that that was a dream that was implanted in my head by those around me and by what I thought I needed to do to be fulfilled and have a purpose in life. And so to me, very much so, getting married and having the perfect little family and checking it all off and, you know, looking like the perfect little family was what I thought I needed to be happy. And I honestly came pretty close to like wanting to get pregnant just because that's what I thought I needed to do to have a purpose. And that's what I thought as like, I'm just gonna be real for you, like to be like a good like Christian woman with a family, that's what I needed to do. As I've been working through my faith and figuring out like what is important to me and what I truly believe in, we're getting real deep with this question, but basically my family plan has changed, and at this current moment I have no desire to have kids. And I have come to accept that that's completely okay, and that is such a valid feeling. And I hope you know that if you don't want kids right now and it's just like the last thing that you want, even if you're married, even if you've had Uncle Frank at Thanksgiving asking you every single year, when you're gonna be popping out the baby, you don't have to feel like just because that's what other people have done, that's what your circles or your community that you're in pushes towards you, that's not what you have to do. And to be completely honest, there is no business having a child if you don't 100% want that life. And like, don't just have a kid to make someone else happy is what I'm trying to say. Have a kid because that's what you want to do and because that's what you feel is good for you, not because you think it's gonna give you purpose or because you think it's what you're supposed to be doing or you think it's the next step and maybe it'll make you happy. And honestly, if I was having a kid right now, I would put everything into them and make them my life, and that would not be healthy because I have lost my identity to so many people throughout my life, and this past year I've finally been breaking those chains off of those people and not allowing them to have that control over me anymore. So long story short, as of right now, no children in the foreseeable future. But I will say that I do know deep down in my heart, even though it's covered up by a lot of fears and trauma that I need to work through for myself before I think I could even be a good mom. I do want kids eventually, and I have names picked out, and I imagine, you know, a little baby. But right now, the screaming, crying, taking care of someone else, putting your needs behind theirs, pouring every ounce of energy you have into them just isn't what I'm not going to be able to do that right now, and that's okay. But eventually I would love to be able to do that, and my goal honestly is to work on myself enough and work through the traumas and the personal things I need to work through so that I am able to be a really great parent. So family planning, yeah, I think it's important. Some people say just like God gave you the kids when you give you the kids, like, I'm sorry, God gave us brains as well so we could be logical about when to have the kids, just saying. So that's what I'm doing, and James and I are both on the same page, and we both are just loving our life with just us two in Maui, and for the foreseeable future, that's where we're going to be at, unless something accidentally happens, and then we will, you know, we will say, whoa, pivot, and go that way if we need to. So, long answer to that, but I think it's something important, and yeah, I just want you to know that you shouldn't have kids if you don't want to have kids. And if you want to have kids. And if someone else does something different than you, maybe you could just be quiet, take a step back, and realize that you are not all-knowing. Therefore, you should, like, maybe take a chill pill on shoving your opinions down other people's throats. That's all for today. So I'm actually going to finish the vlog here. I know it's a little different. I didn't show you like so much of my day and all these different things, but because I answered questions and assumptions, that's where I'm gonna stop it today. That way I can also have some extra time to edit, and like I said, don't want every video to be identical, so this is what we're doing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed today's vlogmas video. And crazy, I'm sure you're not expecting me to say this next thing, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.